Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this morning. Got a big show lined up. But first, as always, we got to take a look at our weather. Brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard, hard-working crew, taking care of everyday comfort needs. We're high today, 90, low all the way down to 78. The all-important water temperature at the end of the pier, brought to us by Allco Electric out of Lynn Haven. Folks, I've been off a little bit, but it's dropped down to 84 degrees. I was looking at my notes, it was up to 88 this time last week. Now it's down to 84. So that's good. So because it had gotten really gotten too hot. So now that's a good sign. It's interesting to see that. River readings brought to us by the good folks at Panama City Coca-Cola. They're dropping a little bit despite a lot of rain we've had. Scattered rain is nothing really super heavy. Apalachicola, Bluntstown, an even 7 foot and dropping out. And the Choctaw at Caryville right at 3.8, and it's got a drop to it. So both rivers look like they're, if you like that fall in the water, be a great time to set out those trot lines and bush hooks and get in an area where you can catch some of those catfish this time of year. Catfish really good. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Looking at, we talked about this the other day, really strong tides. A high tide this morning right at 8:08, and then low tide tonight at 7:47, and we're looking at some really strong tides all week long. Our wind direction, marine forecast, west-northwest at about 10 to 15. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. I want to thank Bill Allen and Dalton for taking care of the show yesterday. A really good trip they had. Enjoyed seeing all the fishing they got to do. And that's some good eating, too. All right, I've got a lot of pictures sort of piled up on me, which is a good problem to have, and I enjoy the correspondence that a lot of our viewers send to us, and we get to share with our different areas of not just right here in the Panhandle, but some of y'all travel all over the place. And I get a kick out of it when y'all send the pictures, especially when you got some Panhandle outdoor paraphernalia on. So here we go. So I'm going to start off. Jack Nichols. All right. Hey, Winston. Mary and I just got back from a trip to southeast Alaska from Juneau area. 7 days on a live-aboard adventure ship, kayaking and wilderness hikes. We saw glaciers, bears, whales, sea lions, and otters. Yes, that is ice floating there and a glacier in the background. A few of the more courageous passengers actually did a polar plunge in this water. I don't think Jack did, but here's the pictures. Okay, here's the pictures he sent along. I'm gonna blow them up for you, but what a beautiful place. Is that not just one of the most beautiful places you can be on? Look at that. And then look at the otters. I got a kick out of them. You wonder what they're thinking and who's in charge, and if they're all taking a nap, or when they get up and go looking for fish. You always wonder about animals when in areas like that. That was funny. And how about Glacier Bay National Park and Preserve, Bartlett Cove? But how about the Panhandle Outdoors Cap? How about that? That's cool to have well, great pictures, Jack. Thank you for sharing those with us. I got a couple more. Here it is again. Look at there. Does that look cold? Okay, you see the glacier coming in right there. Wow. Okay, all right, move on. All right, that's good pictures. Just got 30 minutes of cardio trying to pick up an ice cube from the kitchen floor. Some of us can identify with that. This is interesting. Let's jump on a real piece of history. I love running across these things, because especially when they're local. Okay, they're saying this is the 1892. I've got some questions on this, but anyway, a lot of it is factual. A trip to Chipola from Columbus, Georgia. Okay, so now it's 2 weeks. You're there for 2 weeks, and you see the steamboat. This is a trip to Chipola. the Dead Lakes area. Okay, so you see the cotton and all, they're actually taking people and produce down the river. And obviously 800 miles, and I'm thinking I guess that's round trip, but that's still pretty long. But then 2 weeks aboard for about $16.50, and I'm thinking $16.50. You leave Columbus on a Saturday, Tuesday, and Thursdays at 8 a.m. Come to Chipotle Lakes on Monday, Thursday. So anyway, it talks about it. The gray mist of the morning hang over the beautiful Chattahoochee River as a gallant steamer plows its way bravely through. It goes on and on. There's all these. But I started looking up. I just couldn't get over that $16.50. So now you can actually, I learned this from the kids, go online and figure out what that money is worth. So I put up $16.50 in 1890. What's it worth today? So, okay, so they'll say it's $582. Now, I don't know, back then, I don't think people had that kind of money for the most part, $582 to take a trip on it. I just thought it was interesting. I wasn't there, so I just was curious about that. But that was a beautiful trip, no matter what it cost. Okay, I love this because it ties in some of my former students and families I know. Sarah Marshall, she has 7 videos with Harris Marshall. That's her brother-in-law. Okay, at Quiet in the Morning with Captain Harris Marshall, I was 2 for 6. So they hooked up 6 tarpon right out here. Thank you again for helping me catch my first tarpon. And Sarah, I've known her since she was a little girl. Her grandparents, her mom and dad, and great family, and they've gone to church with us for years. Look at that tarpon. That's something he would see. I drove all the way down to Boca Grande, Gail and I did, for me to catch something like that. Nobody up here was catching them when I was going down there. But she got to go with Harris. I'm going to show some pictures of Harris later. But what a great story. Look at that. Look, big old smile on her face. Her husband, Brant. And Brant and Harris' dad, Scott Marshall. Okay, here's another picture of it. That's another one she hooked up. Is that not great? Real quick, we're in on this one for this segment. For the next time you go camping, problem solved. That is not a bad idea. If you're really out there, and people still do some wilderness camping, not as much as we used to, but that's not a bad idea. Okay, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. I was speaking of Captain Harris Marshall. He's the one that actually, this duck right back here, that's his outdoor project. He actually, when he shot that duck, he actually skinned it out. That's a skinned mount. That's why I keep it here. It's a real deal. As a teenager, he did that, so he's quite an outdoorsman. Let's move on to some more fishing stories. And I love this. Kyle Pridgeon, he sent this picture going to be lost boys mad. Just look at the little look on that little face. Have pure joy. I got a couple of pictures of her. Is she not happy catching that? Got a little boots on and just catching those fish. The happiest day of my life. That's me in the back. Okay. I know it's not funny, Gail, but we don't show it. Okay, coming up now, this is another new one. It's a month away. It's at Lighthouse Marina, the Grand Lagoon Billfish Classic. And they have club members anyway. It's similar. It's going to be similar to the Bay Point one, probably on a smaller scale. But that's interesting. Different people, local folks putting it on. So just wanted to just mention that. This is I read up on this. This boy survived. He was severely burned. Lightning actually hit this boat. This is up in Pell City, Martin Lake up there in Alabama. And there's some pictures of it. It's amazing when it catches on fire. And they were all enough people around. They rescued them. July 4th, I had a lot of people on the water, but it actually went up in smoke, literally. And you can't help something like that. Okay. Your grandma looking down from heaven watching you cook chicken in an air fryer. A lot of my generation can identify with that. That's not how you cook chicken. You don't cook chicken in an air fryer. Okay. Now, keeping up with, over here at Nick's Seafood, over here in Freeport, they have this tournament every year, And I don't know if this is the final one or just update on what's going on. By looking at the trout, there are different names on here. They're anywhere from 3.9 up to 5 pounds, 23 3/4. So that's in the kids division down here, and then over here on the right, that's not catfish. It's the redfish, and they got almost an 8-pounder there. And then you see the different. They just combine two fish. So that's not bad right there. Interesting. Okay. Hey, good morning, Winston. This is Gary fishing Sunny Hills Lakes. Here's a 7.2-pounder, and I lost a bigger one. Could not net him. He wasn't having it. We know that feeling. Sure is a lot of fun out of a kayak and a challenging one. Have a great day. And here it is right here. Good job, Gary. That is a lot of fun. I see your kayak back there. What a beautiful fish, and what a great picture. These sandhill ponds are all throughout lakes, all throughout our Panhandle area are just absolutely beautiful. Good job. Thanks for sharing that with us, Gary. Good one. Okay, I talk about this every summer on the coral snake. Okay, these are Florida. With that top picture out there, coral snake venomous. It has a black nose and a 2-color tail. I just learned as a kid, let's see. Yeah, let's see, red on yellow will kill a fella. Red on black, a friend of Jack. So you see that red is surrounded by yellow, okay? That's what I've always learned. Then underneath it, all right, there it is. That one right there, the red is surrounded by black. So it's a friend of Jack. Y'all see that now? This is something I showed my class 2 or 3 times so you see the difference. The king snake is harmless and definitely don't kill those snakes. Those snakes are really good about taking care of everything. Okay. Okay. This is some of my buddies I used to fish with. He's describing the fish he caught. The fish pulled him down in the water. He put on brakes and tried to catch him. He was a 25-pound bass, but he got off. You all know the stories. Sometimes we started making them up on purpose. Ernie Martin, Ernie fishing a lot in July. That's a good friend. This fishing out of Pensacola, and they sent this right to me, actually July 3rd, I believe, right there before the 4th, and they caught a nice mess of fish. Now, speaking of July 4th, man, we had a grand time. I just ran across this picture. Is this not cool? Of the American flag. And I had some pictures of our cookout. I don't know where they are. I mean, I just got to find them. I'll share them with them if I get around finding them. But anyway, cool one right there. And of course, on the flip side of having fun, what other people consider fun, I show Crab Island every year, and I swear it's getting worse and worse. I mean, there. You could not, is that not incredible? And I was reading the comments on it when they posted this. I just look at that and all. I was reading the comments on it, and one of the things that were, obviously a local, and it said it's such a sad state now with all the partying and drinking. All they said, I remember as a young person, we would go out there and actually catch crabs, and hardly anybody out there, especially late in the afternoon. He went on and told a story about growing up in that Destin area back before the developers started moving in on it and developing it. But it was such a, that had been such a beautiful area. But it's not now. It really isn't. So, okay. Now, Mark Deaton, I've mentioned him before, Dad Don Deaton and Mom Carol Deaton, a Bay High coach and Bay High family. Mark has a place down at Howard Creek, and so you think Howard Creek, you go down there, or Howard Creek, we're going to catch a lot of brim, have a brim tournament, and go catch some bass and everything. You don't hardly ever think about going down there and catching flounder. I showed a picture before the 4th of him catching some flounder. Here he is again. I like what he said. I asked 6 of y'all to go with me. I'm sorry, 7. I know there were some good reasons, but that's what you missed out on this morning. I could have gotten 10 if I had another fisherman on board. He had been catching flounder, and he's sent me a message. We're going to get hooked up and go together, and hopefully we're going to hook up on some flounder. We just got to get our dates set. But you know, that's the thing about the fishing part. When you go to an old fishing hole and catch a brim, you know, you go back there and back there. And over the years, he's found a flounder, and he does that at a certain time with the tide and with the, you know how it is, the tide, the wind, the river, and everything had it all tied together. But he's actually, you know, when all of it meets, all the stars meet, that's when they're biting. And Mark has done a heck of a job on catching those. I want to give him a big shout out. He also, as you go into Howard Creek, there's a big old ice machine on the right. He put an ice machine in there several years back, and not to make that much money off of it, but really just to have some ice down there, because ice is hard to find when you get back that far down in the woods. That's 9 miles off the Weewall Highway back there. So it's one of the few special places. And folks, if you haven't been there lately, you're not. They're actually building some $400,000 and $500,000 homes at Howard Creek. I kid you not. You have to just ride down there and look at it, because you're not going to believe it. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, well, welcome back. Let's take a quick look at our fishing game time, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe, 9:56 to 11:56 this morning, and this evening or tonight, 10:23 to 12:23. Speaking of Blue Water, you know, I told you about a tent sale on July 4th and 5th, and I told you I was going to be down there, and I was going to go to it. Well, I went that morning. I was about an hour late, but anyway, it was fine. A lot of stuff out there, just wall-to-wall people, and you just work your way through it. But the prices were, again, they were unbelievable. And I went back there Sunday just to see Terry G, and he said that actually it's supposed to be a 2-day sale. Folks, they sold out the first day. They sold out everything in the warehouse. They had all kinds of stuff in the warehouse. They do that every year. Bring that quality stuff. You won't believe, I mean, I was getting like $125 reels for like $40. It was like I really needed them, but I'm gonna give some away and take care of some other friends and all. But of course, I tell Gail I need to update my equipment, so you know how that goes. But it was just all kind of good quality stuff. Yeah. And now, the only negative thing, I saw a guy had gotten a box full, but the box about this big, that wide, about that deep, of reels. There must have been 30, 40 reels in there. And I knew, and I figured what he was going to do, that he was probably going to go online and sell them, because he could buy them so cheap there, he could still make money selling online. That's what I figured. So anyway, I wish they maybe have a limit on something like that. But anyway, that's literally their business. But move on. Let's jump on some pictures. How about Mary's Mill Pond? Up around Mariana, how about otters? How about otters? Those not cool? Well, isn't that a beautiful place? I love these places like that. All right, talking about catching some king, Doug Williams and Matt Jinks, they went out. This was 31 pound, and then they caught a 23 pound a snapper. That's not a bad trip on a private boat. The boat didn't, I mean, that's a nice king there, and then the snapper. And look at the water. It's been blowing a lot, but it didn't look that bad that day. There was a couple of days, during the 4th holidays. Okay, y'all can appreciate this. You only need 2 tools in life. Now listen to this, WD-40 and duct tape. If it doesn't move and should, use WD-40. If it moves and shouldn't, use duct tape. And stop and think about that. Don't that make a lot of sense? All right. I want to mention that this is coming up. They've had the first one, I mentioned it last week, on July 3rd. Now they had this one up at High Point Landing, but coming up this coming Thursday night will be the second one. They're going to have 5 this summer, and it's a summer bass fishing series for junior, high school, and college level anglers. This is so good, and Travis, I appreciate all of y'all putting it on. You got those 3 divisions there, and I'm gonna try to be up there. Let's see, what time is weigh-in? Let's see, what does it say? I gotta figure it out. Okay, I'll go online and look. But I'm gonna go try to film some of it. Okay. All right, there it is, right there. Thursdays nights from 6 o'clock to 8:30 p.m. What a great way to spend a summer night. All right, good one there. I ran across this with Hank Parker. I think so much of him, and I've got to interview him and talk to him before. I feel like of course, I'm not his best friend, but I feel like I know him pretty well. But here's what he did on the 4th of July. He started the morning catching bass. Now I'm back home grilling with the family. A good cast, a good catch, and a good company. That's freedom to me. Thankful today and every day for the men and women who have made it possible to live this life we love. God bless America and tight lines, y'all. Is that not classic from Hank Parker? Good guy right there. All right. This we're talking about catching some more of those tarpon. Panhandle fin and fly. That's Harris's outfit. Panhandle fin and fly. And they don't take them out of water, but is that not so? There's Harris right there. Is that not a big old tarpon? But look how close he is to the. I wanted to put this picture in to show you how close he is to the shoreline. Look at there. I mean, that's really close there. And they just cruise up and down the beach, and they catch a bunch of them. All right, coming up, let's jump from saltwater to catfishing, freshwater. Adam Shepard put this in because they're having another tournament. The Southern Cats, you know, they've been on the show before up there in Chattahoochee, and they're going to have a July the 12th, which is coming up this Saturday, 12th through 13th, Saturday night to Sunday morning, and it's going to be, let's see, it's going to be in Chattahoochee at the landing there, and I'll know more about it and tell more about it. But anyway, go online and look, Southern Cats. Good outfit there, good folks. Speaking of tournaments, how about that 28th annual Holden Activity Fishing Tournament? This is a big deal here. They've done it for 28 years. Hard to believe they've done it 28 years. And it's going to be Thursday, July the 17th. That's next week on a Thursday. It's a captain meeting, I believe, and they're going to be fishing it. I'll try to get Chris Kramer, maybe some of those guys and girls to come on and talk about it, but that's a good fundraiser. Okay, I've got a bunch more pictures, all kinds of things going on. We'll get caught up. We've got Chris Bowley from FWC is coming in tomorrow and catch us up on what's going on. We've had a new state record caught, and we'll try to get to cover all that too. So we'll be seeing y'all tomorrow. Y'all do something good for someone else today. You have a great day. Enjoy the outdoors. Take care of it, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.